I am Wayne Moorhead, uh, representing LifeWave Marketing, and I am honored to also have here with us our CEO and founder, David Schmidt. And LifeWave Connect is an incredible opportunity where we get together monthly as a LifeWave family to hear about some of the exciting things that have just happened and some of the exciting announcements and things to look forward to in the future. And last month, because it was our 20th anniversary conference, we did not have this call, but it's great to be back with everybody today. And as I look back from across the last couple months to our last call, a lot has happened. Again, as some of you may not know me, I'm relatively new to LifeWave, but I'm so honored and excited to be part of this great movement. I've loved the products. I've heard of the incredible reputation and impact of the company, and I just feel truly honored to be here. But a lot's happened in the last 2 months. We have had a ribbon cutting at the headquarters in Utah, where we were able to welcome some of our brand partners there to help us celebrate. And we cut the ribbon on the headquarters as well as the Welcome Center, which is a truly innovative and remarkable experience that really you do have to see in person. There's no video, there's no photo that's really going to do it justice, but it provides an opportunity for people to come in and to learn about the innovative products, about the brand, about the business opportunity, and most importantly, David's vision for the future and for LifeWave's future. And also, we've had incredible growth over the last couple months, which is continuing. We're ending the year really strong and moving in to 2025 even stronger, and really kind of the measure of that success that at the offices that we talk about is really around the number of lives changed, the impact that's there. And that's really been evident, not just in product sales and sharing and enrollments, but also David and the company was very generous where, there were some natural disasters, some issues in Florida and the United States, and incredible donations were made to really help alleviate some of that suffering and help people get back on their feet. But it was really the second there was a need, David and the company really jumped in to make that happen. Also, it was an incredible 2025 conference. I was fortunate enough to be there and had the opportunity to meet so many of you. It is that once a year opportunity where all of the LifeWave family has the opportunity to really gather in person, to feel the energy, to feel the community, see the connection and the amazing things that are happening there. And I was fortunate to meet so many of you and hear so many of your personal stories, which really have impacted my personal story with LifeWave, even in this incredibly short time, but how so many lives have changed, whether it was through incredible health benefits from the product, but also from the amazing business opportunity that is also changing so many lives again. Okay, you're right. I apologize. I said conference 2024. Thank you. Thank you for the note there. I've been doing lots of 2025 planning, so lots of 2025 on the brain. But yes, the incredible conference, the 2024, which was and marked the 20th anniversary of LifeWave. So there we heard trainings, we heard inspiring stories. We got to hear more from David around his vision for the future. And while the entertainment was credible, the trainings, the networking were really highlights for me. But what was by far and away the most exciting thing for me and the biggest highlight was some of the new product announcements that David unveiled there. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. But as far as just some of the upcoming things in the next couple months, that'll be great to have on your calendar. So just know we have Vision 2025 happening at the end of January. So make sure that you go to our website and register for that incredible event to know everything that's going to be happening throughout 2025. And there's also a boot camp, December 5th in Anaheim. So make sure you go if you're here in the U.S. and you want to get some incredible training, expand your network, supercharge your LifeWave business. Make sure you're there. It's December 5th through 7th, and it's an event that you don't want to miss if you can make it. But now, kind of circling back, I'd love to begin chatting with our CEO and founder, David, who recently, maybe 2 days ago, returned from an incredible trip to Asia Pacific, visited a couple countries there, had a huge event. The numbers were absolutely incredible there. And I would love, David, would you share with us a little bit about that trip, those events, and what was going on in LifeWave Asia Pacific?
Yeah, Wayne, thank you. It's great to have some time with you. And of course, we are going to get right into talking about the water machine, talking about the supplements, and how all of this ties together with our patches. And we also want to answer some of the questions that people have, such as, can you use this with alkaline water or different types of water and all these kind of things. But we do want to get into some of these mechanisms. I think first, I would like to thank our community for making our 20th anniversary celebration just absolutely amazing. I've never been at an event like this in my life. It was just pure magic to see everything unfold the way that it did. And I'm, of course, incredibly grateful that we were able to give our brand partners and customers this incredible experience. We got rave reviews on the drone show that we had at the start of the event. Of course, having Dan Aykroyd and Jim Belushi there as the Blues Brothers to help open up our celebration on Thursday night was amazing. Of course, I loved having stage time with you to talk about our nutritional products, about the water machine, and of course, having Mickey Willis there to talk about our documentary project was incredible. Nicole Malachowski as a guest speaker, Jack Canfield. It was just one thing after another. And then, of course, we had Gwen Stefani and Maroon 5 for a huge party on Saturday night. But it was one amazing thing after another. And of course, I really enjoyed the surprise that we had about beaming in William Shatner into our hologram device and getting time to spend with Captain Kirk. And of course, the connectivity there is I did a TV show with William Shatner on LifeWave back more than 10 years ago. So it was nice to reconnect with him and get caught up. And, not surprisingly, he's very, very interested in our technology. And we got a phenomenal testimonial from William Shatner on his experience with the patches. So first, just a big, big thank you to all of our brand partners for helping to make our 20th anniversary event just an incredible celebration, and a lot more to come. So the meeting in South Korea, Meredith had went to Vietnam and then South Korea, and then I went to South Korea directly. And we had a phenomenal meeting with the leadership team there. The Korean people are incredibly great people. They're very hard workers, very spiritually oriented. It was we had just hired a new country manager, H.K. Lee, and he had a very personal testimonial to share with me, which I'll let him keep private. But when he came to our Dallas event, he had said that he gave a prayer of thanks to God when he saw our community and what we were all about. And he said, "Thank you, Lord. Now I understand why I'm here." And it was just such a beautiful thing that he got an opportunity to share with me. We had about 3,000 people at our event in Seoul, Korea. And no question, we're going to be experiencing incredible momentum now in South Korea. And as you know, it's in the top 3 largest markets in the world. So we're really looking forward to what lies ahead. As you mentioned, we've got the Vision Conference that's coming up. And one of the things I didn't have time to cover at conference in Dallas was some of the other really important information about the water machine. There was just too much information to cover. So, for example, one of the biblical codes that I talked about, which is found in lobsters, has to do with the very first sentence of the book of Genesis. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And what I was able to show at conference is that the photons of light that are found in lobster blood are a specific code. And this code essentially is found in the first sentence of the Bible. Well, what I didn't have time to cover is that I also found a code in the story of the tree of life in the book of Genesis, and a direct correlation to the lobster blood. And all of that information was incorporated into our water machine. So what this means is that we can use a combination of the correct nutrition with this water to achieve results in health and longevity that have never been available before. So ultimately, the goal is we want to stop the human aging process and even reverse human aging. And I truly believe we're on that path, and this is going to become self-evident in time as we continue to do additional clinical studies. So 4 studies done now, and another 3 studies on the water technology that are underway.
That's really incredible. I've also heard so much the feedback, the positive feedback, the love from convention, from conference 2024 continues to come in literally daily. And we talk about it in all of our meetings as a news story comes in. An event unlike anything I've ever seen, truly. So thank you to you for making it such an incredible 20th anniversary and celebration for all of us. And as you mentioned on the water machine, one of the things that's so amazing to me about it is how synergistic it is with the patches, with the other product. Can you talk a little bit about how and why you approached it that way? It's not a standalone, but it uses some of the same light technology, multi-phase filtration, but can you share a little bit about how it works so well with the other products?
Yeah, so of course, LifeWave is all about light therapy. And if we go right down to the way that we were created, is that our bodies are spiritual beings, and our bodies are biochemically controlled. And so what I mean by this is, if we look at the hydrogen bonds in our DNA, they release highly coherent pulses of light. It's like laser light. And these photons of light, called biophotons, control the biochemistry. And there's a very specific code. It's not at all random. And this is extremely easy to prove. You take living cells from a plant, animal, or human being, you put them in a room that's completely dark. You take what's called a photomultiplier tube, and you measure the spectra of the wavelengths of light that come off the living tissue. And the pulses of light are highly coherent, and they initiate very specific biochemical chains of reactions. So what this means is that if we can understand that code, we can influence our health with light. So the LifeWave technology in the patches was the first to take advantage of this system. We stimulate the skin with extremely low levels of light, and that induces biochemical change. And we've proven that now with our blood, urine, saliva tests, and bioelectrical tests in over 80 clinical studies. So the concept, I've worked on water processing for decades, and this has gone through many different, I've talked about this over the years, and the development of this has gone through many different iterations. But you could say about 6 years ago is when the fundamental discovery on this was made. And essentially, the water machine allows people to drink light, as strange of a concept
Amazing.
as this is. So we embed photons of light into water. We get a fundamental new structure of water, which is highly coherent. And this can be visually seen through time-lapse photography, which we showed at conference. And maybe we'll show that again at Vision. And so you drink the water, and the light is now released and metabolized. And this is measured. It's incredible. 100% of the population responds. And in the first 80 people, 79 out of 80 people have a change in readings on the PhysioSuite equipment in 15 seconds. 15 seconds. So,
Incredible.
so the reason why this all works so well together is that we're stimulating the surface of the skin with light with the patches to produce very specific changes. And we're drinking this water and taking light inside the body. And we're embedding photons of light that are based on lobster blood. And the reason is because ultimately lobsters are functionally immortal. Their cells don't age. And we want to give human cells the same ability. We want to prevent human aging. And we know that historically, biblically, at one point in time, human beings didn't age. And of course, we fell from grace, and then human beings began to age. And there's some very interesting statistical information there, but we'll save that for another time. But suffice it to say that even in modern science today, in mainstream, you have people like Ray Kurzweil and Aubrey de Grey who are saying, well, there's really no reason why human beings should age, and we can see lifespans of 1,000 years. So this idea, this concept of extending human life and, essentially staying 30 forever has hit mainstream science, and there's a gold rush now to how we're going to do this. And the path that I was blessed with was to look at natural living systems such as lobsters and then mimic that in a light-based technology. So we're first to market with this.
Yeah, it's truly incredible. The technology that you created, that you developed, that you've invented is truly remarkable. And that's also matched by some of the results and the testimonials that we heard from a group of brand partners that were fortunate enough to test it there at conference. And as you mentioned, the clinicals, the studies that you're doing showed such a rapid, so it didn't take very long to realize those benefits. I mean, they were happening so quickly, and that was definitely reinforced with all of the people at conference that tried it. What is it about water as a delivery system that makes it work so quickly throughout the body, multi benefits?
Yeah, so the thing that's desirable about water is that it's found everywhere in the body. And of course, as is well known, as we age, the amount of the water in our cells decrease. So there has to be a connection between the amount of water in our body and biological age. Part of this is that what holds the water in the body is the collagen matrix, the cytoskeleton. So collagen, of course, is the most abundant protein in the body. And about age 25, the fibroblasts begin to decline in their ability to make collagen. So we could say that the aging process really starts at about age 25, sadly, as collagen production begins to slow down. And that has a number of very detrimental effects, both in the way that genes are expressed and in terms of the biophysics of the body. So in other words, we have less collagen inside the cells. I'll slow down for the translators. We have less collagen in the cells, and this causes the cell membrane to decrease in size. This now changes the cell potential, which changes the amount of energy that gets shunted to the DNA during cell replication, and that ultimately changes gene expression, which means it makes us older. So if we can have water that contains energy, traditionally water is completely inert. It has no energetic value, no thermodynamic value. So if we can embed energy into water, number one, it's going to go everywhere. If we can put in photons of light that trigger favorable biochemical changes in the body, we can do some extraordinary things. We can turn on protein synthesis. We can turn on energy production. We can turn on regenerative mechanisms, which we'll talk about. And if we can trigger an increase in collagen with it, which our test shows possible, that in fact happens, then we can revolumize the cell and start to restore youth. And this happens, of course, over a period of time through daily use of the water and through the proper nutrition. So this is a perfect blend of having the energy systems in place to trigger the correct reactions, and then having the correct biochemistry, having the proper nutrition to take advantage of the mechanism.
It's truly amazing. You mentioned a few of the key benefits there, especially around the anti-aging. And again, some of the feedback we've heard from people that have been able to try it and test it. For me, kind of anecdotally, I heard lots of different benefits that people were, whether it was sleep, whether it was energy, there were so many there. How is it able? Is it because the water, as you just described, kind of moves throughout the entire body that can impact so many of our body systems, so many issues? Why is it so extensive in its benefits provided?
So let's talk about that. There are a number of testimonials we definitely can't share
Right.
because it would be medical in origin. One would be an example. Let's say we had one of our leaders. So on the Monday of the week of the Dallas conference, we had a private meeting with our senior presidential directors. They got the inside scoop of what we were doing on the development of the water machine. And then we unveiled the water machine and gave them a chance to try it. And what was so exciting is that people felt it immediately. So one of the immediate effects we could talk about is that an instant, and again, in 15 seconds, an instant improvement in cognition. So a feeling of being awake, of improved mental acuity, improved awareness. That all happens drinking one glass and within seconds of having it. We had a woman that was there, and I know she shared the testimonial publicly, but I'll leave her name off, and then people can watch her testimonial. She was having a problem with, I think it was her left eye. She was having a problem seeing. And she drank one glass of water, and then that problem went away and she could see clearly. I don't think that would be a medical testimonial because it wasn't a real medical condition. I'd say it that way. Pain relief, almost instant pain relief from just drinking water. Very easy to understand why, because there's an instant improvement in energy flow through the body. So how is it doing all these things? Well, the first thing is, when we look at why people age, by age 50, most people go through mitochondrial dysfunction. So there is a slowing down of the amount of energy that's produced in the cell. So some of the things that people do today to reverse that would be taking supplements that elevate NAD. That's one of the new things. Prior to NAD, you had nutrients like acetyl L-carnitine, lipoic acid that could help to support mitochondrial function, coenzyme Q10. All these things are totally fine, and no reason why we can't keep taking these things. However, we have to get much more basic than that, and we have to look at why is the chemistry, the biochemistry of the cells changing in the first place. And the reason is we have to look at the control mechanisms. The gene expression is changing. So you drink this water, and it contains 6 different wavelengths of light. And this is all based on essentially lobster blood and the mechanisms that are involved in human blood and human beings as well. So there's 6 different wavelengths of light that are released. What we found in our clinical studies, the 4 clinical studies, we did blood testing, urine testing, and a whole suite of different bioelectrical tests. We found that when you drink this water, number one, it starts to increase the energy metabolism in the cell, and we see an increase in production of NAD. So now people don't have to take an NAD supplement. If they have enough niacin in their diet, they can get an increase in NAD. So energy metabolism goes up. That's absolutely critical because you can't get elevated protein synthesis without an increase in energy production in the cell. Another thing that we saw that was incredibly exciting was a change in methylation. So this requires a little bit of explanation. The genes of our body are in either a methylated or a hypermethylated state. So when we talk about methylation, it's the ability of our body to access information in the genes. So effectively, you have genes that are off and genes that are on. And as we age, some of the genes that are off get turned on, and some of the genes that are turned on get turned off. So it's relatively speaking, that simple. So what's desirable is that as we age, we want to reset those genes to a younger, healthier state. Now, X39 elevates copper peptide, and copper peptide will reset about 1/3 of the human genome back to a more youthful state. So that's great. That's why X39 has been so incredibly powerful. But we want 100%. We want to get 100% of the genome back to a more youthful state. And that's something that we need to prove with this product. But what we see is that it turns on methylation. So as long as people have methyl donors in the body, that will be the biochemistry part. So foods like beets, for example, which are high in trimethylglycine or betaine. SAMe is another biochemical that is methylation. Methylcobalamin, vitamin B12. That's another vitamin that has a methyl donor. And we will have a formula that we'll be coming out with that will provide a full spectra of methyl donors. So as long as you have those methyl donors, you have the biochemistry needed to take advantage of the signaling mechanisms in the water. And then we see amino acids like proline get synthesized and upregulated. Proline is a principal amino acid in the synthesis of collagen. So we see evidence that the water will support advanced healing from injury because we get accelerated collagen metabolism. Then I think I'll stop there because there's a lot more. We see upregulation of amino acids associated with antioxidants, such as beta-alanine and cysteine. And importantly, we see upregulation of the branch chain amino acids, especially leucine. So we're going to do a study, but this may be the most powerful anabolic ever discovered, meaning that if you have enough protein in your diet, you're exercising, and you're drinking this water, it's going to dramatically increase muscle protein synthesis. So this can be phenomenal for athletes. They could build muscle, strength, stamina faster than ever before with this technology. Oh, sorry, Wayne, you're on mute.
Apologies for that. Yeah, the broad benefits are really incredible, and how complementary it is with the patches, with everything else. I know everyone's going to want to be taking all of the products, should be taking, all of the products. As I was watching the chat, as you were talking, lots of excitement. Everybody wants it yesterday, but there were a couple of questions. There were a couple of questions around dosage and storing. So you mentioned that in the studies, it's shown, impact and benefits within seconds. But as someone is looking at, a week, a month, a year, what do you feel the right consumption and dosage of the water is? And do you lose any benefits if you do end up, filtering and then maybe storing the water in the refrigerator for a little while?
So there's a few questions there. So first thing is, during the studies, we only have people drinking 1 glass of water per day. And we don't know what the optimum dose will be, but we see incredible benefits just to 1 glass. So it could be that people don't need to drink any more than 1 glass per day. The other thing is, we have to remember that this will greatly depend on nutrition. So we want to encourage people to have a healthy diet. I saw a comment, how much protein is adequate? And this really depends on a person's objectives. So I'll use a practical example. Let's say when I turned 55, I was training like a competitive athlete. It was just something I wanted to do. So I was in the gym 90 minutes a day, 6 days a week. And I went from being about 185, 190 pounds to 217 pounds at my peak. So I was consuming 200 grams of protein per day. And that was 40 grams of protein 5 times per day. But that was my goal. I wanted to build as much muscle strength and stamina as possible. But generally speaking, the reason for having protein in 40-gram doses is because we need enough of the branch chain amino acids to turn on mTOR. And specifically, it's leucine is the one key amino acid. So we'd want to have somewhere between 3 to 4 grams of leucine, depending on age, to turn on mTOR. So let's say if it's a high quality protein like whey protein, which is high in leucine, then 40 grams. It appears to be a good amount. And then, so I would say for a woman that was maybe 120 pounds, 120 grams of protein per day will allow for gain in muscle and strength. But if the goal is to maintain, then maybe 80 to 100 grams is fine. And then the same type of logic for men. So it's all kind of relative. So if we go back and we look at how much water should somebody drink per day, well, if you've got a terrible diet, then maybe 1 glass isn't going to help you very much because you don't have the vitamins and nutrition that you really need. The first thing is, let's clean up your diet, eat organic food, stop eating processed foods, supplement where necessary. I would still go back and say it's the same rule that we talk about with the patches. Have a clean diet, get your proper nutrition, supplement where you need to, make sure you're getting enough sleep, make sure you're getting exercise, and then using the patches, using the water, using our nutritional supplements, you're going to get the best results.
Incredible. And what about storage? Are you able to filter and refrigerate and drink 3 hours later? What's the optimal timing to take the product?
Well, the great news is that the machine does it all. So if someone wants to put tap water into our machine, it's got 2 separate levels of filtration. Now, we spent 8 or 9 months just on the primary filter. Because we needed to make sure that this was a high-end filter. We wanted to take out microplastics. We wanted to take out the forever chemicals, and then all the usual things like pharmaceuticals, chlorine, heavy metals. The first stage of the water machine is going to do all of that. And then the second filtration stage is a carbon block, and it adds hydrogen into the water. So the machine process will have oxygen in the water, then we add hydrogen, and the light panels inside the black box is what will process the hydrogen and oxygen essentially into a new stage of water. The shelf life, what we found, we tried up to about 5 hours. And essentially, the way that we do this, not to be boring, but we test phase changes of the water, and we look at water structures before and after. But essentially, we found about 4 to 5 hours after the water is processed, it will stay stable. It may stay stable longer than that, but keep in mind, because it's processed with light, you want to keep, we do this all in complete darkness and away from any extraneous energy like, uh, anyway, ambient light. You want to keep it away from ambient light. So I would say the shelf life of the water is going to be dependent on the temperature that it's stored at. And if it's stored like in direct sunlight, it will degrade. So you could store it for, let's say, at least 5 hours under the right conditions.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
You mentioned the two-phase filtration and processing system. This really is unlike anything else that's out there on the market. Is it that two-stage process that makes it so unique to anything out there?
Well, it's the combination of things. First of all, we have patents, multiple patents now, as you know, on the water machine, with more patents that are following. But I would say the novel part of this is that we're creating a new structure for water, but it's not structured water in the usual sense. When we think of structured water, it's adding different minerals to the water, often in small amounts, to change the crystal patterns within the water. Water is essentially a liquid crystal. This is something entirely different. Essentially, what we're doing is storing photons of light in the bonds between hydrogen and oxygen in the water, so that as the water is metabolized, those photons of light are released. And that's done through a proprietary process that I discovered. And it all has to do with the wavelengths of light that we're using and the way that light processes the water. So that's really what makes it special. And the filtration is really just a practical matter. I suppose we could have asked people to put in clean water into the machine, but that didn't really seem quite right. We wanted to have very high end filtration in the water, so people are getting clean water.
Well, I'm really excited for the product to come out, and I'm also excited that there's a unit I've heard coming to the corporate office, and I can't wait to start using it on a more regular basis and really understanding the benefits as we, get all the marketing and everything ready for launch. I don't want to put you on the spot at all. I'm seeing maybe 50 questions on timing. So what's your sense? We know that it's going to be 2025. Directionally, within that year, where do you see this launching once all the production's complete, all the tests and clinicals are complete, and then the marketing campaign and launch campaign's done?
So general timeline is that around February, and we're going to announce this at Vision, we will announce that the top 30 leaders in the United States are going to be awarded free machines. That's an awfully nice, expensive gift, but that's something we want to give to our leaders as a way of saying thank you for everything that you're doing to make LifeWave #1. Then they'll receive those machines around February. We'll begin to run an incentive so that any of our brand partners can get access to one of these machines. We're working on what that looks like, but then in and around April, we'll have the machines in inventory in the United States and begin to ship them. Around April, we'll run an incentive in the international markets, and we'll give leaders in international markets the opportunity to win a free machine. We're also going to have water machines at our offices internationally. So a brand partner or customer will be able to eventually go into Tokyo, Taiwan, South Korea, and they'll be able to try this water before it becomes available there. And then in 2026. We don't, of course, have a firm date because it depends on regulatory, but our plan is in 2026 to have this available outside the United States in our key markets. So, of course, um, that would be throughout Europe and Asia. So, I would say those are pretty good ballpark
Yeah.
dates to work with.
Thank you. That's really helpful. I know we're all so excited and so eager to be able to use it and get it and have the benefits on a regular basis. One or two more questions on the filter, if that's okay, or the water machine, as relates to the filter. How often does a filter need to be replaced? Are there other components that need to be replaced periodically? Can you share some of the kind of the mechanics on that?
So, one of the components I'm going to save to Vision. I've just filed for a patent on this, and it looks like we're going to get a patent, but I'll probably save that for Vision. But on the filter, um, the primary filter with daily usage would be changed about once every 6 months. So there's a panel that the consumer would open on the right side of the machine. Very easy to access. It's one button that you press, the panel opens up, and the primary filter is in there, and once every 6 months. The second stage filter, because the primary filter does most of the heavy lifting, with daily use, the secondary filter is changed about once every 3 years. But let's say once a year, but really more realistically, it's about once every 3 years. The machine is also designed to be upgraded, and so there's going to be a cartridge that comes with these machines, and we'll be talking about that later on as far as what the purpose of that cartridge is. But suffice it to say, we built in the ability in these machines to have things that we add to the water. But we'll talk about that at the Vision conference.
Sure. No, incredible. I can't wait for that either. You've talked about the health benefits, which are incredible. I mean, honestly, mind blowing. Can you talk a little bit about the business benefits and how you see this fitting in the portfolio and helping people to impact lives and build their LifeWave business?
Yeah. So, people are asking about the price, and that's something that we haven't finalized, but we're in a pretty good ballpark. So, what we did early on was we asked a group of our senior presidential directors to sit on a board and help give us guidance. And we first gave them a presentation and disclosed all the facts about the water machine technology, about the clinical studies, and they were just blown away. And they said, well, you could kind of charge anything for this because there's nothing else like it, but we need to make it affordable so that everyone can have one. But we also need to be competitive in the marketplace. So, for example, one of the companies that we looked at in the market was Kangen. Our product is nothing like an alkaline water machine. It's not remotely similar. So it's not really a fair comparison. But in the sense that they have a high-end product, it was good to look at the way they construct their pricing and look at the way they construct their distributor commissions. So from the business perspective, what's phenomenal about this is that one of our brand partners can go out and make a sale and be earning a lot of money right away from the very beginning, their very first month, through the sale of one of these water machines. This gives them time to build up their patch business and build up some of their residual income. So from a business perspective, this machine is going to help fill a gap that we currently have, which is selling one of these water machines at the very beginning of someone's LifeWave business gives them a lot of income and helps to bridge the gap while they're, maybe working up to wanting to work the business full time.
Incredible. I know we're also excited for that product to come out. It's one of the many reasons that 2025 is going to be an incredible year, another one of many incredible years for LifeWave. And one of the other things that we are all anxiously looking forward to is another big announcement you made at convention around supplements. Can you talk a little bit about that product? What was the catalyst, the spark that made you want to develop this, create new ingredients and formulations, and add this to the LifeWave portfolio?
So there are going to be a number of different supplements that we're going to carry. The first two are designed to be using with our patches. So there's a morning formula and there's an evening formula. And there are a few other supplements that we have that could be used with the water machine to provide very specific benefits. We'll talk about that at the Vision Conference. But focusing in now on the daytime formula, the thinking behind this was really twofold. The first was over the years, when we've done LifeWave Connect webinars, we'll talk about different patches. So let's say we talk about the glutathione patch. Well, if we have someone that is a vegan or vegetarian, they may not be getting enough of the amino acid cysteine in their diet to make enough glutathione. So I would traditionally recommend that they take an N-acetylcysteine supplement. Or with our X49 product, making AHK, CU, or our carnosine patch, the amino acid beta alanine or alanine is required to make carnosine or to make AHK. So I would recommend, again, for people that are vegans or vegetarians, that they take a beta alanine supplement. So the thinking behind this was, let's have one supplement that people can take that fill all of those nutritional gaps so they can get the best possible results with the patches. Now, if you want to use the glutathione patch, we've got N-acetylcysteine in this morning formula. You want to use the carnosine patch or X49, you have beta alanine. You want to use X39, we've got glycine, we have lysine, we have copper in this formula. So basically, you can take this one formula and it will provide all of those nutrients that your body needs to get the best results with the patches. So, if you're like me and you travel a lot, I really strive to have a good diet, but it's just not possible every day when you're going through airports. So this is a way that you can fill in those nutritional gaps. And it also, of course, helps to support the mechanisms that are in the water machine, so which we didn't have a chance to talk about. And of course, we made the decision that this formula would not be a pill or a tablet, was that it was going to be a powder. So now the water acts as a delivery system. So you take the powder for the morning or evening formula, you put it into the water, and the water more efficiently delivers it into the cells. So it all ties together.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm so excited about and really so inspired by, is how connected all of these products are. It really is a system that builds on each other. I know I joked to you one time about marketing math, and as a non-scientist, right, a non-inventor, my math as I look at this is 1 + 1 + 1 = 20. I mean, it really is incredible. Taking all these products in aggregate, the overwhelming health benefits that it'll provide and how they work together to support one another is really incredible. As you look at the formulas, are there certain ingredients that really stand out to you that you're most excited about, and what are some of those benefits?
One of the ingredients that we included in the formula is Cyanothox. And if we go back historically a little bit, of course, this is before Donald Trump was elected president, and Robert Kennedy was basically put in charge to dismantle the FDA. And I think one of the things I'm really excited about with RFK is that his first mandate is to stop the attacks on the nutrition industry. It was a little bit surreal, seeing him speak after Election Day saying, that's going to be my job, is to remove entire arms of the FDA and get them to stop attacks on the nutrition industry. So what this means now is we may have more freedom to tell people the truth about what these nutrients really do. This could be, an entirely new day if we could actually tell people the truth based on clinical studies about what things actually do. So one of the challenges we were facing was we wanted to make the claim that the daytime formula supported the health and the vitality of the stem cells in the body. And I spent a fair amount of time, weeks, putting together a document for our attorneys on every single nutrient that was in this formula. And I was able to show through third-party research how every single nutrient in our formula, the daytime formula, supported the health and the vitality of stem cells. And the attorneys basically came back and said, we don't think FDA is going to sign off on this. And my response is, well, here's, I've given you 30 or 40 clinical studies supporting safety and efficacy. So I said, help me solve this problem. Don't tell me what I can't do. Tell us what we can do. So they came back and there was a nutrient called Cyantox. It's basically an extract from sea buckthorn berry. And there was good clinical data on this nutrient to show that it functions as a very powerful antioxidant and it protects the health and the vitality of the stem cells in the body. So we included that in the daytime formula. It is not a nutrient that you would associate with as being necessary to help support the function of the patches. But of course, as an antioxidant, it has huge value. But critically important is that we can now make the stem cell claim about the daytime formula. Of course, that may all change in the coming years because of changes with the FDA in a favorable way. But given where the state is with FDA now, we'll be able to make the claim just on having the sea buckthorn berry extract in the product. So I was pretty excited about that. The other thing that's really interesting is that when people, there's a synergy between the ingredients. And this was one of these things we didn't design. It was just, it was something that we found in our testing. We were giving people the initial samples of the daytime formula, and they got a caffeine-like effect from it within minutes of drinking it, but there's no caffeine in the product. I'm very against stimulants because they're harmful, generally harmful. So we found that people were getting a boost in their energy within minutes of drinking it, and that effect lasted about 3 to 5 hours. And there's a lot of reasons for this. We're upregulating glutathione. We're upregulating nitric oxide in the body with this. We're turning on a number of different systems, but principally increasing nitric oxide and glutathione helps give a natural boost to the energy metabolism in the cell. So I think that was the single biggest pleasant surprise, was that in addition to supporting the health and the activity of the patches, that this product on its own was helping to give people a natural energy boost.
Yeah, and that's incredible, the duration of that energy boost, where so many other products on the market it's a spike.
Yeah.
You get a quick boost and then a crash, and it's almost worse than ever taking it before. But that 5-hour sustainability is really incredible. I don't know anything else on the market that kind of gives you that energy for such a long duration. That's really incredible.
Yeah, the crash with stimulants it's so easy to understand, in the sense that if we have a stimulant, yeah, you're going to ramp up energy production, but you're creating a lot of oxidative stress. And if the antioxidant system in the cell can't keep up, the cell naturally has to turn down energy production, so it defeats death. right? If you let that oxidative stress continue, the cells die. So this is a survival mechanism, the energy crash that people feel. But if we get a natural boost in energy, if we're looking at the positive and negative feedback loop through the creation of glutathione and nitric oxide, it becomes self-evident that if we are able to turn on fatty acid metabolism, get our energy from fat, support the antioxidant systems in the cell, then we're going to get this natural increase in energy without having to experience that crash later on.
Incredible. How is the evening formula different from the morning? What are the different benefits you can expect? Maybe even some of the different ingredients as part of the formulation. But can you talk a little bit about the difference of the two?
The design philosophy is totally different. So the morning formula is designed to complement all of the daytime patches. So when we would say, well, to get the best results with X39 or X49, you should have glycine, beta alanine, and copper in your diet. The morning formula is going to contain those nutrients. On the evening formula, the design philosophy was a little bit different. The thinking was we have people that are going to be using Silent Nights or Alavita or even Eon. So let's have nutrients which will complement those patches. So, for example, let's include magnesium bisglycinate, because that's a natural relaxant and people need enough magnesium. Let's use taurine, which has been shown to not only put people into a state of relaxation, but it naturally helps to regulate blood pressure, and it's very powerful anti-aging nutrient. We also included theanine, which has been shown to relax the body and have some benefits for cognition and other things. So, yeah, the basic design philosophy with the evening formula was to have nutrition that would complement the evening patches to help people relax and then go to sleep. And of course, we're not using any melatonin in the evening formula, so there's no dependency that's created.
Incredible. I'm going to put you on the spot one more time, just based on some questions. Can you talk a little bit about the timing and maybe the sequencing of launching, the morning formula versus the evening formula? When can we expect, or hope to have it again? I know it's an incredible process developing unique technologies and products from scratch. But where do you see kind of ballpark for timing for launch?
Yeah, so we'll announce that at Vision, but our intention is to do the release of the nutrition formulas, well, of the daytime formula at the end of January. So we'll have it in inventory and can ship at the end of January. I also noticed people are wondering, well, can they see the machine? And of course, I believe if they, you're the expert there, but I believe if they go to social media, I know we had pictures of the water machine up on social media. And of course, we also have product video of the water machine, and people can see a picture of it there.
Yeah, absolutely. People can go into their back office. It's also on social. And because we've been so excited about these products and have been so moved by the response from everybody, we've literally watched the video views every day. And these videos have been viewed more than any videos that we've ever had. And just as far as benchmarking, more than any other product videos that I've seen out there. So it's incredible. So thank you for all the excitement and the response from all of the brand partners for all of these. David, this is something that I can't wait to start using, both products. I can't wait to share it with friends and family and people that I meet, because again, everybody, listening to the benefits of the water machine, of these supplements, and again, knowing the benefits of the patches and other products, these are things people really need, and that can really have an impact in a world of overhyped products and ingredients. These products just stand head and shoulder above anything out there. It's something people can trust, and again, to your point earlier, see the benefits so immediately, feel the benefits, experience those benefits. So you did mention, I just want to make sure you mentioned on the water machine, that we didn't get a chance to explain part of the process. I just wanted to give you the opportunity if there is something else, or did we hit that enough just on some of the quote unquote process of the water machine?
Oh, I think there's a lot more to talk about.
Yeah,
And
for
save
sure.
that for another webinar. No, I think as an introduction to the technology, this has been pretty good. Of course, we use formats like our conferences, both Vision and of course our global conference, to take the opportunity to go into a lot of detail. Um, at our global conference, of course, I had the time to discuss a little bit about the background, how the technology was developed, what was the sequence of events, some of the math and clinical studies behind it, and then, of course, what type of benefits that people could expect to receive from drinking this water. But, I think very fundamentally, this company we're entering into an entirely new phase now. In 2018, X39 ushered in an entirely new generation of LifeWave, and for the past 4 years now, we've been the fastest growing company in the world in our industry, and now we're entering into again another phase. The water machine is the first product based on this technology. And of course, there's other products that are coming in the future that will release over the next 7 years that are based on this technology but have other benefits. But ultimately, this is all about preservation of youth, restoration of youth, and allowing people to stay as young as possible, as long as possible. That's our goal with this tech. And of course, ultimately, if we're keeping the cells in the body young and healthy, this protects health in a way that we can't say publicly because that'd be a medical claim. But basically, we want to do this to protect people's health. And if anything, what we saw going back 5 years is that our health is constantly under attack. And it seems that there are certain people and organizations that enjoy doing that. And so our goal here is to give people new technology to fight back and say, no, I'm going to take care of myself. I have the technology that I need to take care of myself. That ultimately is really what we want to do.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful purpose. And I know that it's something that really drives you to continue to create an event and push the envelope. And, on behalf of all of us on this call, I just want to thank you for helping us stay on the cutting edge of health and wellness, for giving us all this opportunity to share this with others. When I hear, just even looking at 2025, I'm blown away, in your discussions along the 7-year roadmap and how far you're able to look down the road and even see around corners is truly remarkable. So thank you for really having that vision and for guiding the whole company and for letting us all be a part of that. It's something so exciting and moving and inspiring to be a part of.
Oh, thank you, Wayne. None of this happens without our brand partners. And I feel so incredibly blessed that we have such an amazing community of people that what they want to do is change the world in such a positive way and be part of the solution and to provide healing. So we have an incredible community, and nothing happens without our incredible leaders and incredible brand partners. So my thanks out to them for making this dream a reality.
Absolutely, David. That's beautiful. And I want to echo your sentiment, in the marketing department and throughout LifeWave. It's really your vision that guides us, David. But we also feel like we work for the brand partners, that we're here to help make them successful, to provide them the products, the tools, the communication to help be a part of that vision and share it. So thank you for all that you do. And I hope everyone continues to register for Vision. Again, there's already, registration is already through the roof. So make sure that everybody here registers. And David, anything else you'd like to say before we conclude today?
I think in closing, first, again, I want to extend my thanks and appreciation to our entire community for making the global conference such an incredibly successful and memorable event. I can honestly say, I'll look back 20 years from now at our 20th anniversary and be so appreciative that we could get to 20 years and have such an incredibly magical event, and we could come together as a community for this and usher in this new era of LifeWave. And underlying this is that our community is providing hope now to millions of people around the world, and that's not something that we should take lightly. Is there are so many challenges that we're dealing with as a species, and I feel that there's tremendous hope for the future. But it is really about bringing truth and light into the world, trusting God, and turning to God for answers. If we do that, we can live in harmony with nature, find natural solutions, and ultimately make the world a better place for everyone and have a little bit less suffering. So I'm incredibly I'm incredibly hopeful that everything is going to ultimately be okay.
David, that's a beautiful thought to end on. Thank you for sharing that with us. We're also excited to finish the year strong and to start 2025 just as strong with all the momentum that the company's having. So thank you everyone for joining. We look forward to seeing you at Vision. So again, please register on our website. I saw a couple of questions on where register on the website. And then we look forward to getting all together on the next LifeWave Connect. Thank you all for being here today.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Wayne.
Thanks, David.